In this presentation, we will enter deposits for the second month of operations from our bank statement into the check register for QuickBooks Online. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. Here we are in our guitar lessons and equipment file. We're going to be entering these deposits directly in the register as we did last time. So we're going to go down to the accounting tab on the left. Within the accounting tab, we want to be in the chart of accounts up top. We may be in the reconciliation from the bank reconciliation last time. We want to be in the checking account. So we're going to go to the checking account. We will go to the register. We're going to continue this process just as we did in the prior month, entering all the deposits first. So we'll enter all the deposits. We'll note the beginning balance is 36,203. If we go to our bank statement, here is our bank statement. We're going to be entering the bank statement for the month of February. We know the beginning balance, 36,203. It has to match up. This is only the case. This will only be the case when we're entering the data directly from the bank statement. If we were doing the full service, it wouldn't do that because remember that we would have those outstanding checks that we have written but have not yet cleared the bank. But in this case, it's going to be perfectly the same. So if this number is not the same under this method, it means we haven't reconciled yet. So then we want to go back and reconcile month one, because if we don't do that, it's going to make it harder to reconcile later. So right now we know we can highlight this. We can say that is already done. The beginning balance is already done, as with the last time period when we had that 15,000 at the beginning, that we had to enter that 15,000 to start. Well, we don't have that problem anymore because, of course, the beginning balance will always be the beginning balance, and it'll be correct if we did the prior month correct. Then we're now going to enter all the additions, which will just be these items, remembering what our conditions are. We're assuming all of the deposits are business related. And we're assuming all of the deposits are from clients, and therefore we're just going to assume they're all sales, unless we are told otherwise, or unless we see some unusual item, as we saw last time, as we made some notes for last time. This time there will be no unusual items, so we're going to go through and enter all of these. I'm going to do them pretty quickly because it's going to be the same process in essence as the last time. And we'll just be able to see the second month of operations. Then we'll move over to the withdrawals, and they'll be a little bit different, and mainly they'll be different because we'll be able to memorize some of the transactions, and we'll have some different transactions with the checks and the decreases to the bank accounts. So the deposits, in other words, are going to be pretty straightforward. We're just going to enter all of these deposits as sales, as revenue. If you'd like to go faster than the video here and just enter all these as sales, that's basically what we're going to do. Then we're going to reconcile it. And if you have any data input errors, that's when we'll find the data input errors. So let's do that. We'll do this on February 3rd is our first one. So let's go back over here. We're just going to enter these deposits directly into our registers. This little drop down here, we'll say that drop down, and then we're going to go to the deposit. So we'll enter a deposit, and we're going to enter the deposit on 020319. We're not going to have a payee because there could be multiple. Remember, this could be multiple people that we group together to one deposit. We just don't know under this method, but we just know it's a customer. That's our assumption. So we're not tracking the customers. We're just going to be recording the deposits. So we're going to be in the deposit side, 1980. And then again, we're assuming they're all sales. So sales is the other side. We're going to select sales and save. So there's our first one. We'll go back over, and I'm just going to highlight that and say that one is done. That one is done. The next one on 251340, we're going to go to 325. I'm selecting the plus on the keyboard, tabbing over to the deposit side. We're then going to have 1340, and it's going to be sales. I'm typing in sales, and then I'm just going to click on it as we see it, and then save. Save over here. Now, if you note that if you get used to just saying enter as you start entering data as you do on the desktop version, it doesn't always save as you would expect. So that it could be an issue for people that are converting from the desktop over here. If you just use the keyboard to hit enter instead of hitting the save button, be careful that it actually saves the item. So then we're going to go back over and highlight that. If that does happen, however, we'll find it in the bank reconciliation process. The next item then we're going to say is on the 6th, so we'll say 2/6. We're going to go to the deposit, that's going to be 910, and the other side is going to be sales, once again, sales, and then we're going to save that item and go back over. This is great. We're almost there. We're going to go to the 1670. 1670 is going to be on the 8th, so there it is. We'll be on the deposit side. It's going to be 1670. Note that if I make any data input errors, it's totally on purpose because we're going to find that, and we may actually do a purposeful one actually, so we can find it on the bank reconciliation. So that's going to be this one. If I do any unpurposeful ones as well, note that that's part of the process that we'll find on the bank reconciliation. So that's going to be on 2/12, and we're going to go to the deposit on 2/12. It's going to be 944, and we will say that's going to be sales, and select that item and save. So we found the 944. Now we're on the 1870, so we'll enter the 1870. That happens on the 15th, and we'll go back over to the deposit side on the 15th, which is 1634, and that's going to be sales, sales again, and that's that. So notice how easy the deposits should be if all of the conditions are met, which typically they are, because of course all of our deposits should be from a business. So 1634, next item 1634, and notice what we did here, what I did here, is I entered this one at the 1634, and so I'm going to change the date to the prior date on this one, and we'll change it to 14, and the rest we'll keep it here. So that's in there incorrectly. And I'm going to enter it now a second time. And that's going to be one of the problems that we'll have, that we'll find when we do the bank reconciliation. So we'll say deposit, another deposit. This one is now on 2/15. And this is going to be for a deposit of 1634 again. So we'll duplicate it. And that's one of the errors we'll find. So we'll say sales and save. And go back over here and highlight that one. So that is done. Then we got 1277 on the 18th. So we're going to say 18. And we'll go to the deposit side and we're going to say 1277. And it's going to be sales. It's going to be the other side, sales. It's going to be revenue. And we'll keep on rolling on that. There's going to be this one. We'll highlight that. And then we have on 2/23, 1980. 1980 on the 23rd, so I'm saying plus to the 23rd, and then we're going to be over here and it's 1980, and then sales once again on the sales side, and save that. Next item, so that one's done, 1980. Now we're on 1340 on the 25th, so we'll say plus to the 25th. We're going to have a deposit of 1340, and that's going to be sales. So there's sales again, and we will save that. And so there's going to be the 1340. Then we're going to go to the 27th, 1570. So I'm going to say plus to the 27th, and then the deposit on 1570, and then sales. So sales will be the other side. Save that, and we've got one more. And again, if we did this a little bit quickly, apologize for that, but this is a bit repetitive, so we want to put this in a little bit faster, but still get it all done for you here so we have an example of it. So we'll put the sales, and that's going to be this item. So now we've got all the deposits in place. If we go back over, I'm going to say all the deposits are done. And if we were good on the deposits, then the deposits for February would add up to this 215, and we can actually check it as we go under this system, right? And this is one of the advantages actually of entering it this way, other than doing the bank feeds, because you can actually now, if I want to check it as I go, I can say, okay, well, it should be now 36203 plus the 18215, and I should be now, as I go, if everything is correct, at 54,418. Of course, we're not there because we're at 52. Because there's some problems that were entered. And I could go back now and I could say, well, let me figure out what these problems are and go back and find it. But it might be easier to go back and find it with the bank reconciliation, because that gives us a really nice tick and tie feature and I can go directly into the deposit and entering screen to fix it right there anyways. So note that this is one way we could check at this point. I'm going to keep it as it is so we have that information that we'll be able to adjust as we do the bank reconciliation process. Now we'll take a look at the financial statements quickly. We're going to go over to the reports on the left side, and then we're going to take a look at the balance sheet. So if we select the balance sheet and we scroll up top, we're going to change the dates from, we really only need the ending date because this is a point in time. So it could be, we say 01/01/19. I'm going to give it a range just so we can look at the detail. I'll show you what I mean. And we're going to go 02/28/19 tab. So it's January 1st to February 28th. Run that report. Notice it's only as of February 28th. So when we look at the balance sheet, that's all we see is as of this point in time. This is what it is as of February 28th. That's what's in the checking account, or that's what we have input at least. If I want to see the detail, though, it's nice to have a date range, because if I select this item to see the detail, it will then give us a detail based on the range. And so the balance sheet itself is one date, but the range is still nice that you can go through here. Here's, of course, all of our items that we entered for February. So we've entered those items for February. We don't have any checks yet, as we see in January, because we don't have those decreases. That's what we'll do next time. We're going to go back up and go back to our report. The other side, of course, is going to be on the profit and loss. All we have is the checking account. We're really focused on the activity, that being on the profit and loss. Let's look at the profit and loss. To do that, let's right click on this item up top and we'll go to duplicate. We're going to duplicate this tab, and that'll make this one is going to be called the balance sheet now, I believe. So we're going to pull the one from the left to the right so that this one will be remaining the balance sheet. And then on this one, we'll make the income statement. And this is nothing, so I'm going to close that. So on this one, we're going to make the income statement. We'll go down to the reports to do that. And we're going to go to the profit and loss, income statement, profit and loss. And then we can change the dates. And now this range does matter a lot, right? So we could do this for the 2-month period of 01/01/19 to 02/28/19. So January 1st through February 28th, and run that report. And then we would get a 2-month. This is the activity. This is what happened for 2 months. If we look at the sales, this is what we've been working on for February. If we select that item, we see January's detail and February's detail, all sales, all deposits. If I go back up top, we can also just see this for the month of February by changing this to from a 1 to a 2. So now we got 2/1/19 to 2/28/19. Run that report. And now we just have the sales items. We don't have any expenses yet. We haven't entered those yet. We'll do this time. If we want to see the detail for just the month of February, then of course we can select the sales item up top, and that's going to give us our deposits we've just entered. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.